I'm just a little nauseous today, so
Yeah,
I know you are too.
right. No, I felt it coming on last night, and I was trying to take medicine to head it off at the pass, but it didn't work.
You can hear each other?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
We're good.
Okay. This is Two Jays in a Pod. I'm Mary Ellen Murphy from WGHN Radio.
And I'm Sarah Leach with the Ottawa News Network.
And we're back at it here. National Guard troops have hit the streets of Washington, D.C. They are there right now.
America.
Around 800 expected to be fully operational by the week's end. These are men and women that have other jobs. They have other jobs and families to take care of.
And now they have to babysit a whole city.
Yeah, very interesting to see how this will all pan out. When I left for work this morning, there were 4 teenagers kind of running amok in my neighborhood, and they were all surrounding my car, looking into my car.
What?
Yeah.
Like they were casing out the
Yeah,
joint?
and they were like between the ages of 12 and 13. And so I'm on my porch, the porch light is on, and I said, you get your asses home right now or I'm calling the cops. And they all scattered.
Like cockroaches?
Yeah. And I wasn't going to.
What time was this?
This was about 3:40 in the morning. I certainly.
What were they doing out?
And I wasn't going to say something like, your parents did it. I wasn't going to trash their parents because they could have snuck out. We don't know what they were doing. We don't know. They scat, and now I'm thinking, are they going to like do something to my car? They were just goofing around. But it was 3:40 in the morning. Get back home.
Yeah.
Back home.
I can't cast too many stones. I did that a time or two
I
when
did
I was
too.
around that age. Yeah.
I used to ride my bike to a radio station down Gratiot Avenue on the other side of the state at 2 in the morning by myself.
But that was a time when we didn't
I know.
have, smart devices and cell phones
Right.
and, social
Right.
media. And so
Right.
it was as simple as, setting up like an overnight sleepover situation
Right.
with a friend. And then she did the same for you. And then you guys just went somewhere else.
Yeah. So it just
Can't do that anymore.
No. So it made me think of, so he's going to deploy more National Guard troops into other cities, Baltimore, Chicago. Will Grand Rapids be a city?
Sounds like martial law to me.
Yeah. I mean, will Grand Rapids, will Detroit, or is it just blue cities that we're doing this at too? Yeah, pretty much.
Sense a theme.
Okay. Interesting. So it'll be interesting. But I did think of the National Guard this morning when I was yelling on my porch, I'm going to call the cops.
Well, I think it'll deeply divide not just the cities that are affected, but the country as well. And I think, this is basically to score political points. I don't think that this really has like long-term, sustainable possibilities.
No.
But it just kind of sucks that we have to watch it and live through it because it makes a mockery of the justice system.
It does. And you want people to be more fearful of the police force. This is going to do it.
Yeah, this is really going to...
This is going to do it. And I told you before.
Community policing is going to be completely crippled by this. So, yeah.
I mean, if a policeman comes pounding on my door, I don't open it right away. I'm not going to open it right away. I'm going to ask, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And what is your name? And can I see your ID? And why are you knocking on my door? Then maybe I'll open it.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
That's the way I roll.
Unless you have a warrant.
Sorry. And this is going to make things 10 times worse. It's going to make and you got to wonder how local police departments feel about this.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be easy. It's a complicated conversation. I mean, I covered that Sure trial in Grand Rapids earlier this year, and just situations like that alone that unfortunately happen from time to time already divide cities and communities, and then to kind of like add this extra layer of national, division is just not helping anyone.
It's not. It's not helping anybody at all. You were out at a protest yesterday. We're going to move over to some Ottawa County chatter here because there's lots to talk about. You covered a protest at the Campbell Plant yesterday?
Yeah, I noticed that some of the outlets were describing it as a rally, even though in the press release that we got, it was described as a protest. I would actually not call it either. It was more of a press conference.
Okay.
There was about 20 people. There was the Sierra Club. There was one local politician, local-ish. He was from the Grand Rapids area. Former Ottawa County Commissioner Chris Kleinjans, who's, obviously a prominent Democrat around these parts. We're standing in front of the Campbell plant, the J.H. Campbell plant in Port Sheldon Township. And this plant has now become like this, yet again, another national story in Ottawa County.
It has, yes.
I mean, there was a journalist from Bridge there. Somebody from The Guardian was there.
Really?
British accent and all.
Really?
I know. I kept on kind of like inching towards him because I just wanted to hear him talk and interview people. But really what this is about is the Campbell plant, as you know, was scheduled to be closed. This plan had been in the works for 4 years. It was announced in 2021. The plant was supposed to close on May 31st of this year. And 8 days before that happened, the Department of Energy issued a wartime, exercising wartime powers, issued an executive order demanding that this plant remain available for operation for 90 days. That 90-day window will come up, I think, on the 20th, so by the end of next week.
So what happens?
I think that they're going to extend it.
How much money is this costing?
Well, so right now, that's the tricky question is, how much is it costing and who's going to pay for it? Consumers are saying that it's still calculating costs, so they're not really saying one way or the other. And I understand why they're not issuing firm numbers, because if this ends up in litigation, then they have to be really, really sure of what kind of damages that they're seeking. And so they're going to kind of talk around that until they get to that stage. So I wouldn't expect any kind of firm numbers. But estimates are as high as $30 million.
What?
Yeah.
Who picks up the cost?
The easy answer is to say all of us, because this will either go one of two ways. Either the cost is going to be passed along to ratepayers, which includes Michigan. So we're on a portion of the national grid,
right?
And it has like 16 states. So this would be sort of like the upper northern area of that grid that would absorb this rate. So we either see it on our energy bill, or the government has to pay for it, and that's through our taxes. So either way, we pay for it.
I don't believe this. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Business as usual in Ottawa County, right? Am I right?
On the Ottawa County Board of Commissioners, who championed this?
Yeah, this is an interesting backstory. So back in 2023, we started originally hearing some chatter from supporters of Ottawa Impact, which is the far-right political group that took over the majority of the Board of Commissioners in 23 and 24.
Right.
Although the OI commissioners that sat on the board in that majority for the past 2 years did not really directly take up the issue in public meetings, there was sort of like this secondary group of supporters that created this effort called Save the Campbell.
Okay.
And their whole shtick was that they were trying to convince local municipalities to pass resolutions that didn't have any legally binding power, but just sort of would kind of, if they got enough of them, it would have enough of a sentiment to maybe signal to the state or to the federal government or even to the county government at that point that they did not want this plant to close. And the reasons, to me, some of it was like the stuff that we see in the division between, Republicans and Democrats, where Republicans, are resistant to kind of, get to more green energy because they say that they're too expensive, the technology doesn't work, it's unreliable, we never know when the sun's going to shine, et cetera, et cetera. And obviously Democrats do the opposite, where they say, well, no, this is, we can't burn fossil fuels forever. We have to evolve. There's the climate change considerations. This is, creates jobs, blah, blah, blah. So we saw all of those talking points, and we really didn't see much traction on this until actually at the beginning of this year, when OI actually lost its majority. I presumed that the issue was dead.
That's what I thought too.
They didn't really have much of a say in dictating how this conversation went anymore. And it actually took me by surprise, because all of a sudden we started seeing, well, we can't let this plant close. And it's like, it's in like 3 months at this plant.
It takes a long time to decommission a plant, doesn't it?
Right. I mean, this, you issue layoff notices, you phase people out, you transfer them to other, locations and departments. And, you have all of these business plans and a budget and then all of a sudden it kind of gets like yanked out from underneath you. And it's like, surprise, you got to call these people back. You got to put them on temporary contracts. You got to order more coal just in case we have to burn it. And then what happens if we don't? All of those things have costs attached to them. So there was a resolution that was passed at the county level where they urged the delay of the closure until the regulatory agency in Michigan, which is the MPSC, Michigan Public Service Commission, could reevaluate and give a second look at whether or not it was a wise idea to close the plant. Now, the problem with that is that that agency had already vetted this plan. It had already signed off on it.
Oh, my gosh.
So now there's some criticism that Mr. Kleinjan's leveled at the board and some of his former colleagues by passing a resolution saying that we're urging the delay, even though you don't have a legal say or the authority to really dictate how this goes, you're signaling to institutions above you that you want this delay to happen. because they're not going to dig deep into the backstory and all of the politicking and how we got here, over the past 2 or 3 years. Like they're not going to care about that. They're going to say, oh, well, it looks like, the county doesn't want this plant to close either. So I think that this would be a welcome decision. And it's much more complicated than that, as we know.
Wow.
Ottawa's going to Ottawa, man.
I'm telling you that. I mean, that's something. And then there were 2 meetings yesterday with the Ottawa County Board of Commissioners. They did not bring up the Campbell Plant in those meetings. They were policy and planning and policy, and what was the other one?
Finance and administration.
Okay.
Yeah.
57 candidates have applied for the Ottawa County Administrator position?
Yeah. And I talked to Chair Teeples yesterday because I contacted him about some of the criticism about the Campbell Plant. We then kind of pivoted to the administrator search, and he says, Sarah, I think that we're going to have an administrator in the next 30 days-ish.
Good.
He says, I have full confidence that we're going to get this done.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see how that pans out.
That's a pretty decent pool. I hope that means that they're all, at least partially qualified. And hopefully we'll get a decent list out of that.
Mm-hmm. I hope so.
Yeah.
Anything else come out of that meeting that's worth noting? Did you watch both of them?
No, I mean, I watched the budget presentation. I watched, some of the follow-up conversations from that presentation. But, right now it's still just business as usual. I think that's really the only significant takeaway from this week. Okay.
Are you doing any preparation for the election on November 4th?
Oh, girl, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow.
I wanted to talk about some local elections because I thought it was really interesting that Grand Haven mayoral race, the mayor's running unopposed. What does that tell you?
Is that atypical, though? I mean, that happens kind of a lot in smallish towns.
Does it? I'm just shocked by that.
Well, remember, Mayor Manetza, he actually lost once
yes,
before,
he did.
too. So,
he did.
And then ran again later.
Yes, he did.
So it's not like it's always just a giveaway for the mayoral position.
It's not. Now, there are 2 positions for council, and 3 people are running for that. There's a Board of Light and Power member, and then a partial term for that. So, all right. So I'm not going to read too much into this then. I guess I was looking at it going, why doesn't anybody want to be on council or be mayor?
Well, it kind of depends on what issues are happening in any given cycle. I mean, I know that when the cleanup of Harper Island and whether or not to keep the BLP as its own separate department in Grand Haven. I mean, those were very polarizing issues.
Yes,
and I
think
that people tend to rally around those galvanizing issues. And I'm not sure if we necessarily have that factor this cycle.
That's a good point, I guess. Yeah, that is a good point. I'm just wondering if people they don't care or they're happy with the way things are.
Well, as I have said so many times, people only care when they are personally affected by things.
Yeah, you've said that, haven't you?
They're like, well, now I'm mad, so now I'm going to do something about it.
This is true. So I had a first on Monday. I've never done this before. I've seen probably over 500 concerts in my lifetime. I mean, I have. I've seen a lot of shows. I walked out of a concert on Monday.
Oh, really?
It was so bad. Okay.
Like the audio was bad or the experience was bad?
Everything. Okay. The mix for Cheap Trick was so bad. These guys are on tour right now. They're opening up for Rod Stewart. But whatever dates they can find to be the headliner, they're going to go right to it, right?
Sure.
So we looked at their set list for for opening up for Rod Stewart. They start with all the hits, not this show. They were the headliner at Meyer Gardens, so they didn't really have to play the hits. After about 20 minutes, I looked at James and I'm like, let's get out of here. This is insanity. My ears were killing me. And I mean, I've been in the front row for Neil Young before. The mix was so bad. I couldn't hear the vocals. I mean, it was just loud. It was awful. All these people were leaving in droves. I've never done that before.
Really?
I just left.
Did it seem like it registered did they seem to notice that people were leaving?
No. And then
they get their money either way, I guess.
And I talked to someone and they said, "Oh, old people always leave shows early at Meyer Gardens." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'm one of those people." But
fair enough.
I was just shocked. I was like, "This is Cheap Trick. I don't know one song they're doing right now." And so they must have changed up the set list because they were headlining there. They didn't have to. And then my boyfriend, who's a musician, he said they probably are allowed to be louder when they're headlining as opposed to be opening up for Rod Stewart. The sound has to be pulled back a little bit.
Yep.
This was overkill, you guys. And a lot of people wear earplugs when they go to shows because the sound is it.
Well, I feel like Meyer Gardens is not like necessarily the venue that they go, yeah, all right, we're gonna party. Like,
well, it was kind of like an arena. It was like an arena. It was like an arena show. But at the wrong place.
Yeah.
It was odd. And I was grateful for the tickets. Trust me, I've got a connection at Meyer Gardens. I did not pay for the tickets. Our friends ended up staying, but we left, and I was just like, oh my God, what is this? It was just loud.
I don't know if I've ever actually walked out. I have an uncle who habitually walks out of movies in movie theaters. Like, he's very proud of the fact that he's unimpressed in the first 30 minutes and will just get up and leave. And I don't know. Even if it's a crappy movie, I'll still sit through and watch it because I just want to be sure about the opinion that I have. You know, I'm like, well, maybe they'll turn it around at the last minute.
The highlight of the show Monday was Sarita's Black Rose. She opened up for Cheap Trick, and she was fantastic. She owned that stage, but it was just weird. And then I thought, am I just too old?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, the older that I get, the Katy Perry concert, like, they didn't start until 9, and I just
for
thought,
crying out loud.
And on a Sunday, and if I wasn't here, with my kids, and if it wasn't a birthday present, I don't know, I might not have stayed through the whole show.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's Danny Bonaduce's birthday today. He's 66. I have a Danny
That's a blast from the past.
I have a Danny Bonaduce story. He worked at Q95.5 in Detroit. He did the morning show, and I was applying for a job there. And this was when you would bring like 4 resumes, and you'd bring your cassette tape with you because they'd put it in. So I'm sitting there, in the lobby, and he kind of peeks in and he sees me, and he's like, oh, I think I'll go talk to her. So he comes out, hi, I'm Danny Bonaduce, introduces himself, and he's like, can I take a look at your resume? And I'm like, sure. He looks at my resume. I want to listen to your reel. Can I take a listen to it? Yeah, here's an extra cassette. He goes back, he listens to it. He's like, you're really good. We should hire you. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. And he's like, I got to go. So then the program director comes out, brings me back, interviews me. I don't hear from them. I'm thinking this is just a courtesy interview. I've got a lot of experience. They're just being nice to me. So then I apply for the job in Seattle. I get the gig. I'm getting ready to move, and they call me that week.
Oh, that was that
job? No. This was another station. Another station that called me that week. Oh, my
gosh.
They called me. I had 2 stations. They called me that week, and they want to offer me middays at Q95.5. Danny Bonaduce was very impressed with you. No, I'm leaving. I'm going to Seattle.
Well, yeah, you've made arrangements.
Yeah. Then Danny ends up coming out to Seattle like a few years later. How weird was that? That's my Danny Bonaduce story.
Wait, while you were still there?
I believe I was still there when he came out. Okay. Yeah. I was still there when he came out.
And your paths didn't cross again?
No, we didn't. I was doing soft rock. The name of the station? Warm 106.9.
Ew.
Hang on. Here's some of the liners. Put on your favorite jeans.
What?
Hang on. Put on your favorite jeans and your favorite sweater and spend the weekend with Warm 106.9.
Okay, what?
Seattle's soft rock.
I'm all sorts of uncomfortable about a lot of that. That's something to unpack later.
And then we had a jingle that went like, your favorite jeans, your favorite songs.
Come on.
They go hand in hand. Warm 106.9, Seattle soft rock.
What does jeans have to do? What
is
happening?
I don't know. I don't
It has nothing to do with that branding.
What happened to the station after that?
Well, the station, I left and came to Grand Rapids, but the station ended up changing formats.
No, you don't say. I am gobsmacked.
I still have a coffee mug that says Warm 106.9 on it. And then remember...
Does it have a picture of jeans on it?
Do you remember...
Just jeans with no other visual.
Stop. You're killing me.
A little sweater.
I'm telling you. It just, Seattle soft rock. Yeah, I still have a coffee mug.
Why does it sound like porn? I don't
I
understand.
didn't think about that.
It just sounds so like
put on your favorite jeans and
your favorite jeans,
favorite sweater, and enjoy this one from Anne Murray.
Yeah, I'm just gross.
Yeah, that whole soft rock in the late 80s, 90s.
I remember. My mom was a fan.
Okay. Well, I mean, it would do well in office settings. You were always like number 1 in the ratings, not, from 9 to 5.
Yeah, it was great background music. Yeah.
Oh, it certainly was. It certainly was. But I mean, I never felt like anybody was hanging on to my every word. I knew I was background music, but boy.
Because half the audience is in the dentist chair.
Exactly.
They all had traumatizing experiences while listening to Warm 105.
Warm 106.9.
106.9.
KRWM. I don't know how to get out of this. But anyway, things are going well at the radio station. We're celebrating 69 years, our birthday. And so we're playing music from the last 69 years. So I've been able to pull out like a lot of cheesy songs like Seasons in the Sun. Remember that one? Yeah.
Yep.
So that's been kind of fun. I played Sinatra today. We're just getting ready for the fall season. We run Spring Lake football, Michigan State football as well. That's about it. So yeah, what are you doing? What are you working on?
Well, I'm going to a thing tomorrow about repercussions of the cuts to SNAP. So
that's right.
The feeding
America.
Feeding America.
You're going to be on that Zoom call too. Okay, wonderful. Okay.
And I'm trying to find some interesting ways of localizing that, and we've got a couple of stories in the hopper about kind of the ripple effects, not just statewide, but locally.
Okay. We have a turntable in our podcast studio. Did you know that?
What?
Can we put the record on?
Are we seriously going to listen to Benny Goodman?
I don't know why.
This has gone so off the rails.
I know.
I don't even understand what's happening right now.
What's going on right now? And you have a migraine, so I feel bad for you because she's dealing with a migraine.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm also, a migraine for a lot of other people. So some won't feel that sorry for me.
I wanted to mention this because you have solar panels. State officials are looking at their next steps after the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency announced it's ending the $7 billion Solar for All program. Michigan was obligated to receive just over $156 million from the grants for rooftop solar, community solar, energy storage, and more. And now they're saying, we don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah, I got to say that my personal experience has been a mixed bag. I think I bought my system 4 years ago, I want to say. 2021. And, the person comes, you sign up, they come, they do a demo, it's a long conversation because it's a pretty big investment. They explain to you about all the tax credits, which are, it's an incentive to do. You can write it off as in your taxes and it's great. They make it pretty palatable. But about a year into having the system, I was having some issues, and I tried to call, and the company that sold them to me had gone out of business.
Oh, no.
And so for a while, I didn't even know who was managing my contract. I know that somebody kept taking my money because they're not going to leave $1 on the table. But
Jeez.
But I ended up getting routed to Generac because Generac, the company that makes all the generators and stuff, they make all these solar panels and the batteries that get charged from them. So eventually, I was able to get back on track whenever I have issues, but. That tells me that this market is still a little volatile. I think that there's a lot of interest in it. I think that there's a lot of pun intended, energy behind the effort.
Yes,
but I do think that it's kind of like when we legalized pot, and all of a sudden we had all these pot shops opening up, and there's only so many companies that. Before a market is saturated. And we kind of saw that in the green energy space too, when Democrats were a little bit more influential in some of these policymaking and, some of these incentives through taxes to get these things up and running.
Wow. How about Gavin Newsom? He's not holding back. All his tweets are in all caps.
Boy, he's
hello.
He is prolific. Yeah, I remember seeing him in Holland when he was campaigning for Biden. Now that was the week before Biden actually pulled out, and then Harris was jumping in.
Wow.
And he was a pretty impressive speaker, and I remember walking away going, "So Newsom 2028, is that what we're doing?" Because it seemed like that was sort of the setup there. I would not be surprised at all if he decided to run.
I wouldn't be either. Interesting. Wow. I don't have anything else to talk about. How do we wrap this up?
Your hair looks nice.
I washed it. I always get into a funk this time of year because it's the end of summer. I don't have kids in school, and I miss that.
Oh, I'm about to run the gauntlet.
Call the drummer.
Hey, Harper, you want to get us out of this podcast? Put us out of our misery? She's so cute. Man, you really hit that hard. Ooh, good job.
Very loud in my ears.